Daniel Taylor.
HBG, that's crazy.
Yo, so just like we start off all our other tutorials, I go and lifting my client hair up off the scalp, and in this case I am using a pick, just off the simple fact my client does have a lot of hair in his head and I didn't want to use a fine tooth comb, and for that fine tooth comb to be pulling his hair and just making him uncomfortable. So right here we're going with our Oster Model 10s with the number 2 detachable blade on them, and you know, if you're new to the channel, man, the reason I like to use detachable blades is just off the simple fact I feel like, especially on a wave haircut, it just lays the hair down a whole lot better. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like it's a smoother cut, and you don't really have too many roach lasers you have to clean up after the haircut, if you get what I'm saying. And in this case right here, my client does want everything at a number 2. He doesn't want his crown at a number 3, you know, a 2.5 or whatever the case may be. He wants everything at a 2. So when you get to that crown area, just make sure you're very cautious and be very observant. Make sure you're watching the way that the hair grows so you don't cut it the opposite way. Then you got a patch in the crown and it's looking like he's bald, and you know what I'm saying? So just pay attention to that little bit of detail, and that'll take your work from good to great, I promise you. So right here I go in with my wall retro T-cuts, and the reason I'm using my wall retro T-cuts to set in my first initial guideline, just off the simple fact it's my soft trimmer. So if I'm doing a bald fade, a bald taper, whatever the case may be, I use this. And essentially all a soft trimmer is a trimmer that's not zero gap, and it's a trimmer that allows you to take that bald guideline out, you know, with way less work than if your trimmer was all the way set at 0. So right here I go in with a number 2 guard all the way open. And the reason I like to start my level all the way open, I like to preserve as much hair as I possibly can, because once the hair is cut, as you guys know, we cannot put it back on. You know what I'm saying? So just be cautious when it comes to fading. You want to preserve as much bulk, as much density in the hair as you possibly can. And then after you get it to that desired length or that desired transition, you want to close the level up, and you don't want to go as high as you just did with the level all the way open. Just go a tad bit under that, and as you guys can see right here, you can start seeing a little transition into the fade already, and that's just keeping the same guard on. You know what I'm saying? So like I tell you guys, always stay consistent. Always, you know, make sure you go through your steps, and you might have to go through your steps a couple times, but it's gonna be worth it at the end, I promise. So right here we go with the level all the way open. We're going up about 1 inch, and after every few strokes you want to comb the hair or brush the hair back down. In this case, in most cases now, I would say I like to use a brush, just off the simple fact, especially if I'm cutting the African American, is, I mean, for the most part, we like to brush our hair. You know what I'm saying? It's more of a brush than combing, because the combing gonna lift the hair up off the scalp. So I like to brush, just lay the hair back down. That's where it's in its natural form, and that's typically what most, especially African Americans, do. You know what I mean? So right here, we close the level all the way up, and we start to nudge that line up. And I wanted to say this in one of my other videos. I'm gonna use a pair of Babyliss so I can kind of show you guys what exactly I mean. But I know you guys hear a lot of barbers saying a notch this, a notch that, and notches are just the indentions or when they're clicking in the lever. You know what I'm saying? So you go through, I want to say it's about 5 notches, and you go through those, and I guarantee, you know, sometimes it might not come out the first time, but if you go through those notches one more time, the fade is going to work in your favor, and the fade is going to come together. So right where we had that number 2 guard with the lever all the way closed, we're going in with the 1.5 guard, and as you guys can see, I have the lever open. Now it's closed up, and we're starting to flick out at that line just to soften it up so we can get a better transition in our fade. And after we're going with our 1.5 guard, we're going to come back with our number 1 guard, and we're going to smooth the hair back down. Remember, when it comes to wavers, when it comes to fading tight areas, fading in general, you want to lay that hair down so it's a smooth transition. And right here you see I got that number 1 guard, we're smoothing it up, and the lever is all the way open. Now we're going with our 0.5 guard, and we're going to go back to the notch system. So basically, like I said, just go through your notches. So once you start to see that line start to just bump up just a tad bit, you want to open your lever up. Don't open it up all the way. Go from 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And when I first stepped into the game, man, this guard right here, and to this day, this guard is one of the guards that I kind of got a love-hate relationship with. Just off the simple fact, it really doesn't. I'm not gonna say it doesn't, but majority of the time, it doesn't get the, that guideline out. So don't be afraid to take that guard off. Use your corners and attack those dark areas. Cause I promise you, if you leave it dark, it's not gonna look together. It's gonna look choppy. It's not gonna look good at all. So, I mean, right here, you guys can see the fade coming together, man. You know what I'm saying? That's with the .5 guard. But you guys going to see me take that .5 guard. I'm going to use that. Corners of my blade with the lever all the way open. We're going to attack those dark spots. And, I know somebody DM'd me a long time ago and asked why did I, go through my lever so fast. And it's not really that I'm going through it so fast. Instead of fading with the notches or fading with the lever, I'm fading with my eyes. So if I see the .5 all the way open isn't doing what I needed to do, I come back with going through my notch system, and it's guaranteed to get it out, I promise you. But take your time and be cautious. So man, listen, my camera battery died, so I'm sorry I gotta end the video right here, but I promise you guys it will be a part 2. Y'all be safe out here, man, and stay blessed. We gone.